Hey y'all, welcome in or welcome back to the Monster Meadow. My name is Meadow and today we are unboxing the latest Skullector, which is Gozer from the Ghostbusters movie. Now, from what I've seen on the website and from people online who already have the doll, I'm not impressed with what I see. But of course, I don't want to make any final opinions on them until I am holding the doll in my hand. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at Gozer in their box before we set them free. Alright, here is Gozer's box. Up here we have Ghostbusters, a picture of Gozer, Monster High Skullector, Mattel. On the side here, Ghostbusters. The box is a little crushed on the corners, of course. But on the back we have the building with a Monster High skelett in the sky. On the side, Gozer. Take this fuck-ass sleeve off. And we have Gozer in her box with her hounds, Ghostbusters on the bottom, Monster High Skullector on the top, Mattel, another picture of Gozer, and then on the back, Ghostbusters save city, world from malignant deity. Before Ghostbusters Inc. vanquished the 100-foot-tall, stay-puffed Marshmallow Man, they had a rooftop run-in with the shapeshifter's prior form, a terrifying monster who sauntered around her temple in an interdimensional chic jumpsuit that, according to the Ghostbusters, really brought out the red in her eyes. She was a manifestation of Gozer, an ancient entity hell-bent on destroying the world. Described as not chatty by the Ghostbusters, she spent their encounter blasting them with crackling purple energy, petting her terror dogs, Zool and Vinz, and ordering all sub-creatures to die. A word of advice from the Ghostbusters if you ever face Gozer: when asked if you're a god, say yes. And then we have Zool and Vinz and Monster High Skullector. Another picture of Gozer on the side. And we have the window on the top. And then the bottom, JKM 54. And yeah, that is Gozer in their box. Let's go ahead and set them free. Alright, let's go ahead and take Gozer out of their box. I've said it many, many times, but I hate this new style of Skullector boxes. This sleeve is just so flimsy. I really don't like it, and just the sleeve over the box really does not scream collector. I miss the opening boxes where it had two sleeves, two thicker sleeves that you parted like a door. But oh well. Another thing I will say, it's been a long time since I've watched the original Ghostbusters movie, but I've also seen a lot of people make the comment on this, how they keep referring to Gozer as she and her, but Gozer never really had a gender. You know, on here, when they gender bend a male doll into a female doll, I will refer to it as she, just because it's supposed to be a gender bent version of a male presenting character. So a gender bent version of that would go by she, her, if the original goes by he, him. But Gozer never really had a gender. Obviously, it was made during a time where for the majority of the population did not have a good enough understanding of the gender spectrum. So instead of calling Gozer they called Gozer it, because Gozer was an entity and did not have a gender. Obviously, Gozer had a female presenting form, but when asked what they were, I forget what they said exactly, but it was basically confirming that Gozer was not confined to one gender, because Gozer's an entity. So a lot of people have a problem with them calling Gozer she instead of they or it. And I will say, yeah, that they probably could have used this as an opportunity for acknowledging the spectrum of gender, considering Monster High is supposed to be an inclusive brand. But yeah, they just called Gozer she. I'll probably call Gozer like they or it and Gozer, just because I feel like that's better and actually reflects the character. I'll have to look up what Gozer says in the movie because it's been a long time. But yeah, Gozer doesn't really conform to any gender because Gozer is an entity in a human form, if that makes sense. But yeah, enough of that. We have the paper certificate. Disappointing. I actually enjoy the certificates, and I hate when they're just pieces of paper instead of the actual cards. But yeah, we have Monster High Skullector X Ghostbusters Certificate of Authenticity. This certifies that your Monster High Skullector Gozer doll materialized through the collaborative efforts of designers and artists at Mattel, and no signature on it. I like when they put signatures on it, just because it feels a little more personal. But I do like the paper bags for the stands that they've been using, even though I don't like everything else they've been doing. Also, yes, I am still waiting on Shorty. She's supposed to ship on the 29th. I ordered her during the Amazon restock because I was not about to wait until 2027 for that fuck-ass clown doll. But yeah, here is Gozer's stand, just a plain black Monster High stand. Now, let me stop yapping and get Gozer out of their box. My dog just barked. But here is Gozer's box without them in it. Let's put it back. Then I will shove this in my closet later. Alright, so let's start with the hounds. I love the material that they're made of. And the heads do turn. They have a little joint in there. They are very cute. I don't know which one's which, but they're adorable. I love when we get pets. And then we have Gozer. The back of the hair is a little criminal. It's giving burnt plastic. It's not gelled too bad, but I really don't want to ruin the hairstyle. It feels like they're only good at short hair on male dolls, because what is this? You know? The lightning bolts are removable. They're just rubber banded on for now. I'm probably going to leave them like that, because I don't know how well they stay on by themselves. The shoes, I'm not the biggest fan. We got more tacky asymmetrical object heels. We've got the Marshmallow Man and the door to Gozer's temple. I do like that they are the same color as the shoes. I wish they did something else for the objects. You know, why couldn't they have continued on with the bubbles that wrap around Gozer's outfit? The bubbles would have made good objects. Why did they have to slap on these random references? Also, the bubbles on the legs are attached to the shoes. They're like a wraparound moment, which I do like. And then the rest of the bubbles are removable. They come off. They are not attached to the outfit. They're just add-ons. I really don't want to call them accessories, because as I've said before, for me personally, the word accessory means you could add it on or take it away from the outfit and it would still look like a complete outfit. But if you were to take these bubbles away from the outfit, it would look like it's missing something. You know, these lightning bolts, you could take them away. It's still Gozer. So the lightning bolts are accessories, I would say. I mean, I do count pets as accessories. They're something extra. But these bubbles, I really feel like they're necessary. Hidden in some of these bubbles are spider webs, which is kind of cool. It looks like this catsuit is lined all the way through. Yeah, it's lined. We have a layer of lace on the outside and another kind of iridescent layer on the inside. I am slightly disappointed with this doll. You know, when they started teasing a Ghostbusters Skullector, I was kind of excited. You know, Gozer is the main villain. People were saying, who is this? Why are they making a doll of this? Where's the Marshmallow Man? This is the Marshmallow Man. Okay, this is the main antagonist of Ghostbusters. So, of course, they would make a Gozer doll. You know, I will always support people giving their criticisms, but some criticisms are not criticisms. They're just complaints, and they are complaints for the sake of complaining. At least do a little bit more research about Ghostbusters before complaining about the character that they chose. This is the main antagonist. This is the Marshmallow Man. This is the big bad. But yeah, I am a little disappointed with this doll, just because I was excited at the thought of a Gozer doll, because this would have been an amazing opportunity for another Xenomorph level Skullector. You know, Gozer as a character has a fantastic design. But just throwing them in a laced cat suit with a few belts and stuff, it's a little disappointing. I feel like they could have done something more, given the design something. You know, they did. I don't want to say this is a new hand sculpt. It's kind of giving, I don't want to say Fangboat Jennifer. I want to say House of Wolf Claudine, just with shorter nails. Because the nails are giving kind of a claw moment, and they are painted with the same pearlescent sheen that is on the other pieces of the outfit. But I don't want to say this is a new hand mold. However, the face itself is a new mold. We have 2026 Mattel. Looks like they got a bit of silver on the back of the head. But these little pieces on the head are part of the mold. They're not painted on. But I feel like they could have done something more. Like, Xenomorph got a whole new body sculpt on top of the head mold. And recently we got Shorty. That's a whole new head mold and hand mold. I just feel like this would have been a good opportunity for a Xenomorph level Skullector again. But something about it just feels a little lazy. I feel like this may have been a little bit of a rush design. You know, we've got some fraying on the bottoms of the legs and arms, but they kind of get lost in everything. I don't know, it just feels like this was kind of thrown together and maybe a little too true to the movie design. You know, sometimes I will complain when they stray from the movie design and do something that feels completely random, but at the same time, I don't want an exact recreation of, like, the movie design. I just feel like they could do something somewhere in the middle, like a happy medium, sort of true to the movie design while also throwing in that Monster High spin. Object heels are not a Monster High spin, even though Monster High is known for object heels. This is just lazy. It's lazy. You know? I was excited for this doll, and I'm not gonna say she's the most terrible Skullector to be released. I think her and... not her. Gosh. I was talking about other Skullectors and I just... Gozer. I feel like Gozer is on the same level as Skeletor. I don't think they're better or worse than Skeletor. I feel like they're similar levels. Skeletor's staff has turned backwards. But yeah, slightly disappointing. I feel like over time, their design will probably grow on me. But I was just very disappointed because this would have been a great opportunity for a Xenomorph level Skullector again. But yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts. Let me go ahead and get Gozer on their stand so we can give them their 360, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and let me know. If you'd like to see more content between now and my next video, you can check out all of my socials, linked in the description down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I can't wait to see y'all in my next video, and remember, don't be afraid to be yourself. Bye!